Overlanding. Currently, there is no definition for this term in the Merriam-Webster dictionary for this term that is used in the off-roading community. The closest definition to this word that the dictionary will provide is by, on, or across land, or going or accomplished over the land instead of by sea. So what does overlanding mean? Well, I guess we're gonna have to Google this one. And in Google, it says overlanding is self-reliant overland travel to remote destinations where the journey is the principal goal. And that is per Wikipedia. Now, if you go to overlandjournal.com, they'll say, while expedition is defined as a journey with a purpose, overlanding sees the journey as the purpose. Overlanding is about exploration rather than conquering obstacles. Because there is no current strictly defined definition for this term, we are often left to decide and decipher for ourselves what overlanding means to us. Now, what I believe overlanding to be is being able to outfit your vehicle in order for you to be able to get to a destination and enjoying the journey along the way that brings you to remote places that is typically non-conventional so that you can enjoy the outdoor experience. Now, this does not mean an overlanding vehicle has to be outfitted from top to bottom with the latest off-roading technology or tools. Now, what I'm about to show you is my overlanding rig so far. Alright, so here's my rig, my daily driver and my overlanding vehicle. So now, as you can tell, I have made some aesthetic modifications to it to give it a more all blacked out type of look. I do not like chrome on my vehicle, so I did want to try to cover that up as much as I could. There's some more aesthetic mods that I'm planning to do in the future. But for right now, this is what it looks like as is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick walk around of the vehicle and talk about some of the modifications made on the exterior. Now, in my previous videos, when the truck is shown, there are a couple of common questions that I see. One is, what is the tire size? And the other is, what kind of bed rack do I have on the bed of my truck? So I'm going to address that as well during this exterior tour. So first of all, let's get to the tires. So on this vehicle, I do have the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack tires, and that is 265/75 R16. Now, these are the Load E 10-ply tires, which are a little bit heavier than your average Load C tires, which this truck is probably all it needs. But because of the terrain that I sometimes drive through, which has very sharp rocks and shale and such, I wanted to ensure that having the tire punctured would not be an issue. It does affect my gas mileage a little bit, but for me, it was worth it to have this peace of mind with the stronger tire wall. Now, the wheels itself are the wheels that came with the TRD Off-road package on the Tacoma. I just Plastidip it black with about 6 layers of Plastidip. Now, I've put it through pressure washing, different terrain, driving in snow, mud, having rocks thrown its way, and it still hasn't peeled off yet. So it's still in good condition, and it's been like that for almost a year. I'd say to anyone who wants to give that all black look, it would work. Just make sure you're putting a lot of layers and coatings of the Plastidip on that wheel. I also get a question from people asking if I've lifted my truck or not. At this point in time, I have not lifted it yet. I keep it at its stock height with the biggest tires I can fit, which are the 265/75 16. Any bigger than the tires will start to rub. So, you know, doing that requires a lift and then a cab mount chop and things like that, and I have no desire for that at this point in time. Because of the current setup that I have, I am still able to get to my destination. I haven't had any issues going over terrain. Now, I don't go rock crawling or anything like that, or drive through trails which have rocks that are greater than about 9 inches high. So for me at this point in time, I don't need that. There are other things that I can spend my money on for upgrades and mods or anything else in my life. So right now I'm leaving it as is. Also, as far as gas mileage goes, it does help without a lift because it is my daily commuter ride. But I'm sure in the near future, when I do decide to get a second car as a daily driver, I may add the lift and bigger tires as well. Now, next we go to the ditch lights. I got these by CaliRaised, and these are the LED ditch lights. And I have them set so that they are pointing straight, slightly outward, but leveled, not pointing down or up. Now, you do want to have them, in my opinion, turned slightly to outside because you will see the light shine in through the windshield if it's directly straight. So these ditch lights for right now, for my type of driving and my type of overlanding, have been sufficient to light my path. The install wasn't too bad. The install probably took less than an hour. The trickiest part of installing these lights were trying to get the wires through the firewall into the cabin of the truck. So if you do go drive around in the forest roads at night, I do highly recommend these. Now to go with the help with the blackout look, I did install these custom miso lights that are smoked out, and typically these would be chrome. I wanted to do the chrome deletion on the truck on the side blinker. The cost was pretty reasonable, and actually the LED lights on the side marker are much brighter than the stock lights that come with the truck. Next, I added the in-channel vent visors, and I primarily wanted to get this because I wanted to be able to slightly crack the windows open for fresh air even when it is raining. Here in the Pacific Northwest, it does rain a lot. The installation was really simple. Took about half an hour for all four windows. Now I do have a shovel installed. This is a Krazy Beaver Killer Spork shovel. The shovel head on their shovel is supposed to be somewhat more stronger than a conventional shovel. Now the mod that I've gotten the most questions on my truck are these. It's the KBVoodoo HiRise bed rack. Now the reason I got this bed rack is because it is compatible with the tonneau cover. So the way they've designed this is so that you can install this onto your truck bed even though you have a tonneau cover. Usually a lot of bed racks require you to remove the tonneau cover or not have a tonneau cover and keep the bed exposed, whereas this one allows me to be able to have a tonneau cover on there so that I can keep items in my truck bed secure. Now these racks, they come in sets of 2 or 1. What I did was I bought a set of 2 and then I bought another single rail. So I got 3 racks in here total. Now generally the 2 racks was able to support 250 pounds of moving weight and 500 pounds of static weight, which means when the truck is in motion, it can support up to 250 pounds on the rack. Now if the car is parked and not moving, it can hold up to 50 pounds on those racks. Now with the rooftop tent being almost 200 pounds and then myself and Katie and our gear, it does exceed 500, but with the rooftop tent opened up, the ladder is supposed to support some of that weight, but I just wanted to make sure I had enough reinforcement just in case I gained 300 pounds in the next year. With that said, I installed 3 and I still haven't had any issues with them. Now on top of the bed rack, as you can see, is the CVT rooftop tent. I have the Mount Rainier 3-person plus. Now the tonneau cover I have is a trifold tonneau cover by Tiger. I got this off of Amazon. So far I've had no leaks with this tonneau cover, and it is definitely budget priced compared to the other tonneau covers out there. It is still not cheap on its own, but compared to the other ones on the market, I did save some money on this one. Now on the truck tailgate, I do hang a Trasharoo off the left side back. Whenever I'm about to go overlanding, I hang that on there because when you pack up trash from camp, it sucks to have that in your vehicle. So that allows me to be able to hang it outside my car and drive around with that and then dispose of it at any waste station around. It's definitely a good additional item to have. Not super necessary, but definitely something that is practical and functional for me. On the right side of the truck, I have the CVT awning. It's a little bit longer than 72 inches long. Because the awning is attached lower than my head, I will set it up so that it's slanted upwards. So when it's closer to the truck, we can put chairs down and sit down. And when we're walking away from the truck, we'll still be under the awning and be able to stand up. As you can see, it does come with the L brackets that fit perfectly with this rack, and I'm able to set it up quite well, and I have had no issues with this awning. And yeah, it's a good little mod when you want to, for example, park at the beach and have a little fire, or set up camp and have a place to be shaded or covered from the rain. Now because this is a daily driver, sometimes I'll park it in markets or any establishments that I go to or drive to, or at work, or when I go backpacking or hiking, I'll have it parked at the trailhead with the rooftop tent and the awning like this on the rack, because I do have it on there full time. So what I do is I have this security wire with a lock. Now I do have security nuts on the rack with the rooftop tent, so that it takes a special socket to be able to unscrew these, but this is just an added level of protection. This way, like I said, the rooftop tent can't be open and the awning can't be open when I'm away from my car. Now with that said, if someone was determined enough, they could potentially unscrew the security bolts as well as cut the security line with the proper bolt cutter. But doing it this way, sometimes thieves or hooligans will will just visually see this level of security on this and would not want to bother with dealing with that kind of issue. But like I said, it could be like that, and if it does happen, then I'll just have to deal with it. But I'm hoping this is enough for right now to be able to keep it secure. Now for the fog lights, I did install yellow bulbs on there. They're high powered yellow bulbs, and the reason I did that is because the yellow or amber light cuts through the fog better, and you want to have that when you do drive in that foggy environment, because one, just white light would pretty much not cut through the fog and potentially even blind the driver because it just reflects that light. And second, the yellow fog light or the amber fog light will actually be a little bit more visible to an opposing driver. So not only will the fog light be good for the driver of the vehicle, it's also a good way for other people around you to see that you are coming. So that's about it, guys. So that is a brief exterior walk around of my rig. If you do have any comments or questions, please feel free to put it down below. I hope this video was informative enough for you guys. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. So yeah, so that's about it. That is my daily driver and my overlanding rig. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care, be safe, and I will see you next time.